Hello everyone, welcome to Scalers channel. So let's say you look at a very fancy job at Google and you hit that apply button. You send out your resume, but you don't hear back from them. Or you get shortlisted, you do an interview, but then again you don't hear back from them. So you never know what goes on the other end once you hit that apply button. We have Akhand here who's going to help us clear all of our doubts. Hi Akhand, can you give us a quick intro about yourself?
Hi, my name is Akhand. I head customer success at Scaler. I have over 15 years of experience, having worked with enterprises such as Zomato, Foodpanda, Ola. I have interacted and worked with thousands of learners and hundreds of recruiters. I have also built and scaled teams of my own. So happy to be here and really take you through the nitty-gritties of the selection process that all of us have to inevitably go through.
Awesome. So we're going to cover everything from application till you get the job offer. So before we move on, I want to quickly mention two things. One, we have the Scaler AI mock interview tool live now and it's free for everybody. You can go check it out on our webpage. And also there is Scaler masterclasses where you can level up DSA, system design AI, any tech that you want to. And all of these links are in the description below. You can go check it out. Now let's get started. I want to first start with what goes on in the recruiter's mind. So once you hit that apply button, what happens in the backend?
So once you apply, your application, right, or your resume essentially goes into a pile of 1,000 other applicants. And then the first level is essentially an ATS parsing, right? So an ATS will scan your resume and look for the relevant keywords which correspond to the JD. So, for example, if an enterprise is hiring for a set of, say, 5 skills, right? The ATS will scan for those 5 keywords within those resumes and get you the first stack of shortlisted resumes, which would further get scanned by a human, right? Which will be a recruiter or a hiring manager.
Got it. So before we move on into a little bit more detail, I just wanted to address AI. So with AI coming in, is there any changes to the ATS or how the process, selection process? Yeah.
So with AI adoption, right, there is definitely process improvement in the backend. So technologically, there are enhancements on the qualitative front when it comes to the ATS. But from a process perspective, there is no drastic change that we are seeing at the moment. So how an application process feels to you, right, is more or less the same at the moment.
So now let's get back to resumes. So I wanted to just ask about the do's and don'ts. That is, most people struggle in what exactly they should put in their resume. They usually put their education experience, but I don't think most people know how exactly to add it. So can you just give a brief on what are the do's and don'ts, and also, as you mentioned, ATS, how to beat that system? Yeah.
So the two do's, right, or the golden rules of making an efficient resume. So, firstly, to understand what is a resume is ideally a one-pager document which highlights the capabilities, skills, and abilities that you possess to a recruiter or a hiring manager in a very short span of time, right? So essentially, you have a structure that you should follow. So, like I said, try to keep your resume under one page, especially if you have an experience of under 10 years, right? You start off with the basic information, then social profiles, you have your keywords under the skill section, you have your experience section slash project section, and then achievements, if any, which are noteworthy, and then of course you have education at the end. So these are the general rules that you should follow. What you should avoid fancy or heavy themes or formats, right? Keep it simple, keep it plain. So avoid pictures, avoid tables, avoid graphs.
So I just had a doubt. Should we mention our date of birth or even years on in a chronological order? For example, if I've graduated, should I mention my graduation year, or just to give an idea of my age, should I mention my date of birth?
So in terms of chronology, what is recommended is a reverse chronological order, right? When you're talking about your experience, top to bottom. So you talk about your latest experience and then what you have done in descending order. When it comes to date of birth, I don't think it's required.
Okay.
But when it comes to year of graduation, uh, it's a little personal, depends on the recruiter. There are companies, there are roles that require a very specific year of passing out.
Okay.
Right? For example, there are roles out there which would say that we need fresh graduates, so 2024
Yeah.
and above. So if you don't mention your year of passing out or year of graduation, that might again on an ATS level act against you.
Understood. In your personal experience, have you come across any CVs that is the benchmark to what not to do?
Quite a few for that matter. So we have seen applicants a lot of times create resumes as a mere formality. So they do create a resume, but there is no focus on the structure, the content, and quality and relevance as well. So for example, you might have a GitHub link which doesn't work or is empty, right? You might have a LinkedIn link which doesn't work again, or again, if you click on it, you might find no information there, right? Similarly, you might see absence of uh, problem solving platform profiles such as Kaggle, Lead Code, HackerRank, etc. It's missing altogether. So these are as a applicant, as an applicant who is aspiring for tech roles. Your resume is your only opportunity to communicate and showcase your skills and abilities, right? So it's very crucial for you to showcase your problem solving ability and of course have either full-time relevant experience, if not have great quality projects. I've seen examples where you have hobbies mentioned, but again there's nothing in the experience section, right? So a company is not going to give you an offer just because you like to sing or play cricket, right? They really want to see that can you deliver on the job, right? So if you are hiring for a specific role, you need to make sure that you showcase the relevant tech stacks or the relevant keywords uh, in various places throughout your resume.
So now let's assume that I've got my formatting sorted. So now what else can I do to like kind of stand out from the others? Let's say everybody has the formatting sorted now. So what else can I do?
Once you are past the basic template layout, right, where to place what, then it boils down to content, quality, and relevance, right? What I mean by content is essentially you need to have the social profile links, right? Your LinkedIn, Kaggle, Lead Code, HackerRank. So essentially, a LinkedIn is a good to have, not a must have, right? Unless you have a lot of experience, mutual connects, etc. Uh, what is more important is you're showcasing a problem solving ability on a platform like, let's say, Kaggle, HackerRank, Lead Code, having a repository of high quality projects on your Git, and in the experience slash project section, if you don't have relevant full-time experience, you should showcase some high quality projects in the same spot, and ideally they should correlate to the JD. You can correlate to the industry space, similar technology, so that is how you can make yourself stand out.
So on the same lines, now if I'm applying to 10 different jobs, and every different job will have a different job description, but I have the same set of skills. Should I redo the resume based on the JD for every single role?
Yes, you can. Ideally, you should, but the only way you can do that is if you have a repository of content.
Okay.
For example, your skills remain the same, but how you apply them and showcase it to the prospective employer can change. So, if you have built a repository of 10 projects by applying those very skills that you talk about, right? Uh, Knowing a skill or being good at it is implied. You cannot say I'm good at Java.
Yeah.
The work that you have done, that implies that you're good at Java, or the projects that you've built, that implies that you're good at Java. So if you have built a repository of projects in various technologies, different approaches, right? Different sectors, different industries. That is how you can play around with it. So if you look at, for example, an opening at a Razorway, right? You can go ahead, and if you have a project which is related to finance in a similar technology that they're using, you can go ahead and highlight that as the first project.
Okay.
So you can play around with the content only if you have content. Now, if you have only built out projects, two projects, no matter what the company, you'll have to apply with the same resume. You cannot optimize a lot.
Understood. Just a follow up on that. What about keywords? Let's say every company might look for different keywords. Even though, for example, if it is Java, they might look for a different framework. Like one company might look for Spring Boot, another might not. So, in that case, for example, when I'm applying to a company which is asking for a particular framework, is it better to include that? And then, if the other company isn't asking for it, I just remove it and then use a different framework or a different stack over there.
So when it comes to skills, technologies in specific, uh, an overkill profile is not necessarily a negative.
Okay.
Omission might hurt you. Having, let's say, if a role is only asking for Java and Spring Boot, but you know AWS, that is better.
Yeah.
Right? You stand out. So it's not going to hurt your chances. It might, in fact, help you.
Okay.
Right? So you need to make sure the keywords are relevant to the JD.
Oh.
What they're asking for, you have that present. If you have something over and above, great.
Okay. I have another question. Cover letters. So, are they still relevant? Do you think they are? I understand for senior roles, maybe, but do you think is it also required for freshers and maybe people with 3 years of experience?
Cover letters, I don't think are relevant anymore, right? Because, like I said, a one-pager resume, worst case two, if you have a lot of experience, extensive experience, and considering the process where an ATS is the first level, it all boils down to clean, simple layout with the right keywords and relevant experience showcased to the employer or the hiring manager in this case.
So, unless it's specifically asked for, we don't have to submit a cover letter.
Not at all.
Understood. So again, if you have to make it into a short, quick checklist that the viewer can use before they send out the resume, what could it be?
So keep it under one page, especially if you have under 10 years of experience, right? Keep it clean, simple in terms of the layout. Make sure you have the links to your social profiles. You have a Git repository link. You have a lead code, Kaggle, HackerRank, whatever you have built out. Make sure you have high quality projects, high quality personal projects in case you do not have relevant work experience. And apart from that, avoid pictures, graphs, tables, colorful templates. Make sure you make an impression in the quickest time possible, right? So average time spent on a resume is anywhere from 15 to 30 seconds at best. So you need to make sure you put yourself out there in the best manner possible, where everything that you're mentioning is highly relevant and impressive at the same time.
Understood. So again, one last question. Before sending out the resume, before applying for that job, should I get it reviewed by another person?
Absolutely. So building a resume is an iterative process, right? It will not happen overnight. So incrementally, you will improve each of these aspects that we discussed, and it will get to a point where you think it's fantastic. The best approach would be to take it to someone who's far more experienced than you and seek invalidation. Have them look at it from their own perspective, right? Where they can bring in their years of experience and highlight red flags that you have missed out on.
Understood.
Right? Everyone wants validation, they want people to tell them, hey, everything is great. But I personally believe that invalidation leads to betterment, right? So make use of their experience and have them see things from their lens and point out things that you can improve. And that is how you can incrementally get to a resume which is far more efficient at beating all these systems.
Awesome. Also, guys, if you do not have a mentor or a peer to review your resume, we have a AI resume builder which can give you a free consultation. So go ahead and use that. We will link that in the description as well. Also guys, a checklist that Akhand has shared, we would share it in the comment section, which you guys can use. So we've come to the end of this video. Thanks Akhand for helping us answer these questions and help us clear the doubts of the viewers. And this information that we have shared in this video is relevant for tech and non-tech professionals. So do share it with your friends. They would find it really helpful. So thanks for tuning in and watching the video. In this series, we're going to cover everything that you need to clear a job. That is, we've covered resumes in this video. We're going to look into how to negotiate your salary. We're going to look into how to interview and also tech interviews and also behavioral rounds. And finally, we're going to look into what to do even if you get laid off, right? So if you don't want to miss all of these videos, make sure you're subscribed to our channel and meet you in the next one.